On the record.
Good evening. Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills Regular Township Council Meeting of March 21st, 2023. Posting of notice. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December the 21st, 2022, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December the 28th, 2022. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Public Access Channel 21 at 7 p.m. Sundays and Wednesdays, and are also available for viewing at www.parsippany.net. Would you all please stand and join Lauren Smith, a student at Parsippany High School, in the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Karifi?
Here.
Mr. Musella?
Here.
Mr. DePiero?
Here.
Mr. Neglia?
Here.
Ms. Grignani?
Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor James Barbario, Business Administrator Jamie Cryan, Township Attorney Michael Lavery, and Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, April the 4th, 2023, at 7 p.m. we have an agenda meeting. April the 18th, 23, at 7 o'clock, we have a regular meeting. Approval of minutes, agenda meeting 2/7/23, regular meeting 2/21/23. Motion to approve the minutes.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Lauren, would you like to give us an update, please, on the happenings at Parsippany High School?
I hope you all are doing well. So on March 10th, we had the Parsippany Leadership Retreat at the PAL with both schools all day, where students learned how to become leaders through discussion and lectures. Some juniors and seniors that day went to Lake Parsippany Elementary School to teach students about social emotional learning through crafts and reading books. Last week, the START program had a St. Patrick's Day sale where you could fill a bag for $5 to help support their program. Last week, the juniors had state testing, so the rest of school got a few extra hours of sleep. Last Tuesday, Peer Buddies held a karaoke night as a bonding event for the members. We also had a fundraiser that night at Chipotle to raise money for future club events. Also that day, the math team had their last competition of the year. Last Friday, Tri-M had a movie night from 6 to 9 in the auditorium where they watched Teen Beach Movie. Tomorrow, there is a freshman field trip to America's Grow Row. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night this week, the Drama Club is putting on High School Musical from 7 to 10 each day in the auditorium, and also on Saturday, there will be an additional show from 2 to 5. On Friday, we are having a pep rally to celebrate the spring sports, including girls and boys lacrosse, softball, baseball, boys tennis, track and field, and the unified track team. The student-faculty basketball game will be played during the pep rally and finished on Tuesday from 6 to 9 in the gym. And all money raised will go to the senior class to help us pay for prom. On the 30th, the Fashion Club will be having their first ever fashion show at night in the auditorium. And on the 31st, the senior class will be holding a blood drive donation during the whole school day.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Presentations, Mayor Barbario?
Sure.
Can I tell them as well come up? All right, congratulations. I think he's one heck of a soccer player. All right, hold up for a minute, it's gonna be yours anyway. All right, here we go. I'm gonna read this proclamation in for Dylan. The Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills proclamation, whereas Dylan Mazzarella is a Parsippany resident who has, through hard work, determination, and more hard work, distinguished himself as a talented soccer player, as acknowledged by his coaches and U.S. Club Soccer Scouts. And whereas the ID2 program is an Olympic development program approved by the United States Olympic Committee and the U.S. Soccer Federation, which provides opportunities for elite athletes to be identified, developed, and trained for inclusion in the U.S. Soccer Youth's national team programming. And whereas Dylan was selected as one of 72 young men to attend the East Coast National Camp in Tampa, Florida in January of 2023. And whereas Dylan was further selected as one of 18 players to travel to England April 1st through the 11th of 2023 to play against Premier League Academy teams as members of the ID2 National Section International Tour and participate in multifaceted experience of training, games, and cultural excursions to the London and Manchester. And whereas, this is the best part. Now therefore, I, James R. Barbario, the mayor of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, to hereby proclaim today Dylan Mazzarella Day.
Yay!
And recognize the pride of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills has in his accomplishments. Dated this 21st day of March 2023, and this will become a national holiday. No, come on. Come over. Want to get mom and dad to come up?
And sister?
Your mom's crying, so I don't know.
What about his sister?
Oh, we're gonna have everybody come up. Here we go. I know your mother-in-law. You kidding? I see your mother-in-law shop right all the time. You gotta eat. I mean, come over here. Get my drink. Good.
Congratulations.
Okay, I got more stuff to go over. I just want to let the residents know that tomorrow, March 22nd at 6:30 will be our very first Ramadan lighting. So all who would like to attend will be here at 6:30. And then on Saturday, this is important, right, Mr. Lavery? We have the Easter Bunny coming to Town Hall, March 25th, which is from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. With that being said, I'd like to give a little report with regards to the PD. I met with the CFO and with our business administrator with regards to the budget. And of course, our budget's tight. So, you know, the Parsippany Police, we're capped at what we can do. So there will be no hires this year for any new police officers. What we will be doing is, though, anybody that retires, we will be replacing them with a new officer. I spoke to the CFO, and he said right now, the money's not in the budget, that we will be able to do this next year and hire. So with that, we will be restructuring certain areas of the police department and bringing 4 new officers, not new, but officers on the roads, take them out of civilian positions onto the roads so we can cover areas in Parsippany. So I just want to make you guys aware that, you know, the budget is tight, but it's a much better budget than last year. But when we're capped out, we can't go over the cap. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're going to restructure. We're going to look at other areas in the PD where we can, you know, bring more individuals on the road. I have this discussion with the BA, and he had the discussion with the chief. So I believe the chief is on board, but we are going to replace any retired police officers going forward.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Township Council, we are pleased to announce a new member to the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee. Vincenzo Ferrara will be a 3-year term, filling an unexpired term. Congratulations to Vincenzo Ferrara.
I have one item under Township Council. I have a letter from Hope One, Chelsea Whiting, she's a sheriff's officer. I'll read this to you. Hope One would be honored to provide a life-saving Narcan training for you. Our presentation is approximately 1 hour and includes discussing our programs through the Morris County Sheriff's Office, as well as a Narcan training. Each individual who attends the presentation with training will leave with a life-saving Narcan kit. Please let us know what dates are available and what times work for you. So, Mayor, I'm recommending that we take advantage of this. Maybe somebody from each department, if we do it all together, arrange for one training program, and anyone you think should be there, they go through the training, they have a Narcan kit, so every department will have a Narcan kit. And council members, same thing.
All for it.
We can go through it too and receive the training.
Definitely.
And one of the questions I do have when I plan on attending, if it's a time when I can make it, is lawsuits. I mean, if you think someone is overdosed and you apply the Narcan and you don't do it right, or it wasn't really an overdose or whatever, a bad call, for instance, can we be sued, or does the Good Samaritan law protect anyone who's trying to help? So that's a question I would have for them
Right.
when we attend this, but I'll ask Colette to make copies of this, share it with everybody, and then let's see if we can find a date that's good for everybody.
Okay, I did go down to the community center, and we met with Hope One, and we had this discussion with regards to Narcan, and they do show you pretty much how to, administer it. But I get what you're saying, because sometimes the Good Samaritan rule isn't always good for the Samaritan. So that would be an answer from the township attorney.
Okay? Colette, can you make copies for everybody's mailbox?
Thank you.
Give me back the original.
Thank you, Mike.
And Council President, can I just add one thing with the PD? I didn't say it. As of right now, though, all promotions are on hold due to the budget constraints as well. I will further look into any promotions going forward, but as of right now, they're on hold.
Thank you. Township Attorney, Mr. Lavery.
No report, Council President. Thank you.
Business Administrator, Mr. Cryan.
Thank you, Council President. Just real quickly, wanted to thank Mayor and the council for considering one of the ordinances that is on there tonight for the purchase of the Cosset property. Mr. Cosset is here, and thank you to him and his family for their hard work in trying to get this finalized. Some residents may have received a water meter replacement program notice. National Meter Services is contacting residents, that's who we contracted with, to reach out to homeowners that need their water meter replaced. So if you have any questions about anybody coming to your door, please feel free to call Town Hall, and we will do our best to help you, but it is legitimate if it's coming from National Metering Services. That's all I have.
Thank you. Township Clerk, Mr. Madden.
No report at this time, Council President. Thank you.
Township Officers, Committee Reports. Any? Seeing none? Councilman Carriffy, would you please, Engineering Report?
2021 road resurfacing curb and sidewalk program. The annual road resurfacing curb and sidewalk project is on hold pending negotiations with the contractor. No council action required. Rockaway River flood wall levee inspection. Our consultant is working on preparing design details and cost estimate for the maintenance and repair work to the flood wall and levee. Recent site inspections were made to aid the design of the repairs. Once the design and necessary permitting is complete, the project will be advertised for bid. No council action required. North Beverick Road Streetscape Project, Phase 1. The first phase of the North Beverick Road Streetscape Project is in design. We anticipate bidding this project over April. No council action required. Drumlin Drive Stream Cleaning, the NJDEP permits have been issued for this project. Our consultant is finishing the design, and we intend to bid the project over the winter. No council action required. Puddingstone Heights Road Improvement Project, Phase 2. The second phase of Puddingstone Heights Road Improvement Project is in design. We anticipated bidding this project in the spring. No council action required. Jefferson Road Improvements, we received a $760,000 NJDOT grant for improvements to Jefferson Road from Parsippany Road to Smith Road. The improvements include the resurfacing of the roadway, minor intersection upgrades, and significant drainage improvements, particularly near the East Halsey Road intersection. Plans are in design, and the project will be bid once NJDEP permits have been issued. No council action required. Mount Tabor Street Improvements, Phase 7. The Mount Tabor Street Improvements Phase 7 project was bid in February and is on the agenda for award. This project is the next phase of improvements in the Mount Tabor section of town. Construction activities are planned to begin in late May and will continue through the beginning of October. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council. Lake Intervale Area Street Improvements, the first phase of Lake Intervale Area Street Improvements project is in design. We anticipate bidding this project once funding is available. No council action required. Roadway design projects, the following projects are in design or proposals have been requested. Troy Brook Stream Cleaning, Sylvan Way Sidewalk Improvements, River and Stream Desnagging Plans and Permits, Eton Road Traffic Study, Sylvan Way Culvert Improvements. No council action required. Major Soil Moving Permit, 12 Violet Street, Block 6, Lot 12. The Planning Board has recommended approval of a major soil moving permit in conjunction with a proposed single-family home located at 12 Violet Street. This office has reviewed the application and recommends the Township Council approve the permit. We recommend the Township Council approve the soil moving permit by resolution.
Thank you. Bids taken, 12/16/23, remount and re-chassis of two new 2023 or newer Ford F-550 4x4 Super Cab Type 1 modular ambulance. 2/16/23, lease of public property. 2/22/23, reconstruction of various streets in Mount Tabor, Phase 7. 3/16/23, two 2023 or newer front loader chassis crane carrier model LET 2-46 or approved equivalent. To be taken, 3/29/23, 2023 road resurfacing / curb and sidewalk program. 4/5/23, PAR 2020-01, Well 4, High Service Redundant Pump Addition. There are no questions. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing, please.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on any matter. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Hi,
Good evening.
nice to see everybody again. Mary Martin, 12 Forest Place in Mount Tabor, and I am here to update you tonight on what I have learned about the reopening of the Mount Tabor branch of the Parsippany Library System. As you probably recall, a few months ago, a large group of Mount Tabor residents stood before you and spoke passionately about why we wanted our branch library to reopen. At that time, council members stated your support of reopening the Mount Tabor branch and generously committed to funding the Tabor branch with $88,000 in funding this year. Since the decision was made to reopen our branch, Library Director Melissa Kuzma and the Library Board have been extremely gracious towards the residents of Mount Tabor. the director has fully committed to a successful reopening, and the residents of Mount Tabor are thrilled with the progress that is being made towards the reopening. I spoke to Melissa last Friday, librarian to librarian, and she told me that library staff and the Parsippany DPW staff have been working hard to update the space for the reopening. They've made physical improvements, they've removed some older furnishings to create a more open floor plan, and purchased furnishings and materials. The library has also begun hiring part-time staff who will work at the Mount Tabor branch when it reopens. Additionally, Melissa invited Mount Tabor residents to a meet and greet last month, which was held in the Bethel. At this event, Melissa and librarian Janice Soleo, who will be the primary librarian working at the Tabor branch when it reopens, talked with over 20 Mount Tabor residents about the community's needs, as well as the services that residents are looking forward to taking advantage of. There was a lot of excitement in the air that night, and the question on everybody's lips was, when will the Mount Tabor branch be open? When we discussed the Mount Tabor branch reopening with the township and with the library board in January, we hoped that the Mount Tabor branch would be able to open in April. I still hope that will be possible, but I discovered after talking to Melissa on Friday that there is a roadblock. The library's lawyer has advised them not to reopen the Mount Tabor branch until a formal lease agreement between the township and the Mount Tabor Camp Meeting Association has been signed. I attended the CMA meeting last week where I learned that the CMA has developed a draft lease agreement and that the CMA attorney, Joe O'Neill, has spoken with the township lawyer. No doubt there's going to be some details that will need to be worked out between the township and the CMA before this lease can be adopted. I do understand that this is a very small item on your plate. However, it is extremely important to the residents of Mount Tabor. Now that we have a good working relationship with the library, we don't want to lose any momentum. So it's for this reason that I stand here before you tonight. I am asking you to do anything possible to speed along and expedite the process of negotiating and signing the lease between the township and the CMA. A signed lease between the township and the CMA is the final barrier to reopening the Mount Tabor Branch Library, because until the lease is signed, as Melissa explained to me, the library cannot set an opening date. Finally, I do want to thank you again for all of your support during this process. Thank you for your time tonight, and please keep the ball rolling for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we ask our township attorney where the lease is?
Yeah, I spoke to Mr. O'Neill. I don't have the lease yet, so.
You don't have it?
No.
No.
Okay.
And if I can further add, I just speak to the library director. Excuse me, I've been congested for 2 weeks. I don't know when it's gonna go away. But, the library will not reopen until the budget is, finally approved and passed, because the funds aren't available till that pretty much happens. So, and we will be getting the budget shortly to the council. I just want to make everybody aware of that, and I told that to the library director. Even though the funds are there, they still have to be approved. And once the budget's approved, and that's why we gave that deadline of, well, she gave the deadline of April, later in April. But you will receive the budget, from what I understand, by the end of the month, is it?
Yes.
By the end of the month, and then we'll have an
Which
introduction.
month?
This month, yeah. So you're in the 20th, so hopefully next week you get it. With regards to the lease, as Township Attorney said, I have not seen the lease yet myself.
As I understand it, the $40,000 that the library has not paid the CMA over the years in rent, that disappears. And the
Well,
lease-
actually, we can't discuss that, and it's still in contractual forms. We'd have to, in my opinion, if I'm wrong, Counselor, that would be an executive session?
Yes, correct.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My name is Bob Venezzi. I live at 102 Brooklawn Drive. Less than 2 years ago, the council passed ordinance 2021:14. and that specified which of the 6 categories of cannabis-related businesses would be permitted to operate in Parsippany. As you may recall, the original ordinance prohibited all 6 categories, but after a lengthy debate by the council and a lot of input from the public, the council, to its credit, reached a compromise. A new ordinance was drafted and passed, allowing only the wholesaling and distributing of cannabis. At that time, it was clear that the retail business was the one that both the council and the public objected to the most. At the last council meeting, 4 entrepreneurs presented what I considered to be a weak case for revisiting the ordinance to allow retail cannabis business to operate in the township. They made a great case for medical benefits associated with prescription cannabis, but those benefits were never in doubt. Almost nothing was said about the benefits of purely recreational cannabis, other than the tax revenue that would be generated, and as the mayor pointed out, the unspoken profit that the applicants would make. With regard to medical cannabis, it's readily available now, as evidenced by the fact that the applicants were all current users of the product. And it's about to become much easier to obtain since, as the applicants noted, 3 nearby towns have passed ordinances permitting the sale of medical and non-medical cannabis. The applicants estimated that their proposed business would generate $160,000 per year in tax revenue for Parsippany. But there was no mention of possible offsetting expenses if, for example, police oversight was required to monitor the business. If Parsippany does amend its existing ordinance, there's no limit to the types of cannabis retail businesses that profit-seeking entrepreneurs and their lawyers may concoct. Personally, I'm most worried about businesses that allow on-premise consumption of the product, such as maybe cannabis sports bars or coffee shops that serve brownies and pastries and sweets laced with THC, or vaping cafes that offer THC cartridges. Intentionally or unintentionally, I expect a significant percentage of patrons returning home from an establishment such as these will be driving impaired. The extra revenues are just not worth the risk to the safety of Parsippany residents, who would have to share the road with cannabis-impaired drivers. There's absolutely no urgency for the council to amend the existing cannabis ordinance at this time. I suggest that we let Boonton, Rockaway Borough, and Rockaway Township, who have already amended their ordinances, be the front runners on this issue. Let's monitor their performance, and after 5 years or so, then we can make a decision based on information rather than speculation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Venezia.
When we adopted that ordinance, the township council was unanimous not to have a dispensary in Parsippany. And there was a compromise to allow the shipment and storage, but not the dispensing. You talk about 5 years from now, we have a lot of drug dispensaries in town. They're called drugstores or pharmacies. And the reason these pharmacies cannot fill prescriptions or would not fill prescriptions for cannabis products is because it's still a federal crime. And they would not get reimbursed from any medical company or Medicare, or they would not be reimbursed. It's a crime, federally. At some point in time, when the federal government lifts that as a federal crime, then every drugstore can fill medical marijuana prescriptions. You know, there are a lot of products in THC than just the drug that gives you a high. A lot of products. And when a doctor fills a prescription for medical marijuana, whether it be for glaucoma or tension or insomnia or whatever else, they're extracting something out of the THC to fill that prescription and the proper dosage. That's what a prescription does. And any pharmacy can do this in the future if it's not a federal crime. I think we'll get to that point before we have to worry about opening dispensaries in Parsippany or any place else nearby. And hopefully that will take place that way.
Everybody's signing in. Nick Homiak from Lake Hiawatha. Today is the first day of spring, Ramadan.
No.
But it was declared a day of action for climate. So I'd like to bring this council and the public's attention to the 4 dirty banks, each that were bailed out during the recent failure by our taxpayers' money. They're now investing in further fossil fuel infrastructure and extraction from the earth, the exact opposite of what needs to be done. The banks are Chase, Bank of America, Citibank, and Wells Fargo. So I would say that it's time for us to become friends of the earth. And one little way that we can do this is the leaf blower resolution to support the new technology to ban the 2-cycle gas leaf blowers. Now, I was here last time. Mr. Marcella, I had to put the words in his mouth. He said that he would never support such a resolution, not a law, because it would interfere, government interfering in business. Well, I want to know if that's the whole council's take on it. It was Councilman Marcella speaking for the whole council? Or is he just proclaiming himself a council dictator and saying that the council can't look at this? The leaf blower itself, with these admissions, is a big contributor now. Another free market wonder. Like I said, no government regulation, look the other way, laissez-faire, is contributing in a way. It's called a butterfly effect. I should have took a drink of water. It's a small scale change in a complex system through feedback that can eventually result in large scale consequences. So you combine this device with the automobiles, with the deforestation, and it's a big contributor. So I don't see what the big deal is to support such a resolution, and even for Parsippany to make their own resolution. The Montclair has a very good one. I think ours could be a little bit different to address the close-quarter neighborhoods like Lake Hiawatha. Some of these lawn care people, they don't have the proper mufflers. 90 to 100 decibels. Nobody wants their home disturbed like that. So I don't understand what the shut the door in the face was about the resolution. And I'd like to know if council feels the same way that Mr. Musella does. But if you take into account, it's a little thing that this town can do to stop our carbon footprint. Just a little thing. The butterfly effect now is a negative. We could make it a positive. And it's not going to happen right away, but the technology is there. So a boost to the, I made some more paper to give you. I don't know whether you read anything I gave you already, but here. The environmental impact of the gas blower, leaf blower must not be underestimated. In fact, one study showed that under normal usage conditions,
A leaf blower two-stroke engine emits 300 times the hydrocarbons of a pickup truck, 93 times the hydrocarbons of a sedan, and as many times as much carbon monoxide and nitric oxides as well. If you drove the pickup truck for 3,900 miles,
30 seconds, Nick.
the amount of hydrocarbons emitted would be equivalent to using a two-stroke leaf blower for about a half an hour of yard work. So if you take your truck and you drive from here to Little Rock, Arkansas, that's 1/2 hour of a leaf blower. And imagine all the other leaf blowers. So it's time to think about the planet and end this economy in a vacuum outside the laws of nature. And I can go on and on, but I don't have the time. So please reconsider support of a resolution, and I'd like my question answered whether Mr. Musella speaks for the whole council, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Mr. Homiak. Anyone else wish to speak? I'd like to entertain a motion to close the hearing, to close the public hearing.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero. Mr.
Yes.
Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani.
Yes,
Floor is closed.
Councilman?
Yes. Ordinance 2023-04, bond ordinance providing for various water utility capital improvements in and by the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appropriating $7,220,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $7,222 bonds or notes to finance the cost thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on March 21st, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on April 18th, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes,
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:05. Bond ordinance providing for various road improvements for the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills in the County of Morris, State of New Jersey, appropriating $2,520,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,400,000 bonds or notes of the Township to finance part of the costs thereof. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on March 21st, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on April 18th, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
yes,
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:02, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 4, Article 9, entitled Police Department of the Township Code. The notice for ordinance 2023:02 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on February 27th, 2023, and introduced at the February 21st, 2023 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2023:02 be heard in their second and final reading by title by myself, seconded by,
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
This time we'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing for this ordinance and this ordinance only, made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on this ordinance only. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Nicholas Homiak, real quick, what I would like to see, as far as the police go in this town, I'd like to see a separate precinct in Lake Hiawatha itself. And I'd like to see officers either riding bicycles or walking the beat. Now, the crimes that are committed there every day is people throwing their garbage all over, degrading the humidity. Those are crimes. Captain Dodd told me one time, they're really not crimes, they're offenses. No, they're not. The magnitude. Police officer, you get out of the car, anybody, you start walking around and looking, those are crimes. And they could probably help be a positive thing. But a local precinct, maybe, what do you call that, when you commandeer a eminent domain, one of them empty buildings, and have a little police station in Lake Hiawatha, and try to improve the habits of the clientele that visit those businesses there. So, something to think about, I hope.
Thank you, Mr. Homier.
Seeing no one else?
Entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Floor is
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that the said ordinance be passed on final reading and a notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2023:02 by myself.
Second.
Who seconded that, Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:3, an ordinance of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acquisition of property commonly known as 369 Knoll Road and shown as Lot 7 in Block 469 of the official tax map of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. The notice for ordinance 2023:3 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on February 27th, 2023, and introduced at the February 21st, 2023 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2023:3 be heard in their second and final reading by title only, made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2023:3 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on this ordinance only. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Nick Homiak, could the council please explain the exact purpose for the public of the acquisition of this property and its intended use?
Mr. Lavery, please.
Sure. So the town was able to get, I believe it's 3 grants altogether, I think 2 from Morris County, Open Space Trust Fund, as well as 1 from Green Acres. So the plan is to purchase the property and use it for passive recreation and open space.
No ball field?
No. Passive recreation.
Just to expand on that, the township owns property surrounding this property. This is like a jigsaw puzzle, and this piece that fits in the middle now gives us 30 acres of continuous property, 30-acre tract of land. This piece was right in the middle, and it was stopping us from having a complete tract of land. As you know, Lake Hiawatha is a very densely populated portion of the township. Not as densely populated as Mount Tabor, but still densely populated. We don't have a golf course up there. This land is gonna remain open. We're not gonna develop it. We're not gonna do anything with it. It's passive recreation, and it's needed up in that area of the town.
Seeing no one else come forward, make a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2023:3, made by myself.
Second.
Just, motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and a hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed in final reading, and that notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2023:3, made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Missed out on that one.
I sure did. Non-consent agenda, resolution 2023-057, authorizing transfers between budget appropriation. Motion to approve the resolution above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda. Be it resolved, all items listed with an asterisk are routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Approval of payroll and bills list. CFO Leonard Ho recommends authorization for payment. Authorized payment of the March 31st, 2023 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,750,000. Payment of bills from voucher list of 3/15/23 through 3/17/23 is $1,322,834.30. Motion to approve the authorization for payment above, made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Mr. Musella, adjournment, please.
Sure, be delighted to. Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
We're adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.